Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining C.L.E.A.N with C.L.E.A.N this evening to discuss the session on retirement planning. My name is C.L.E.A.N, and I'm happy to see all of you. Thanks for joining. I'm not here alone. I'm here with Damilola Azan. Damilola is the head of wealth management at Meristem Wealth Management Limited. She's going to be speaking to us, sharing her professional views on retirement planning. So let's set the background of why we are having this meeting, this session on retirement planning. It was Workers' Day yesterday, and it's a subtle reminder that work will not go on forever for all of us. I remember the first day I resumed work at my first place of employment, and looking back, it's 12 years already, and that's how retirement too will come, in the twinkle of an eye. But whilst we are working, we should also be making plans towards retirement. We should not just rely only on our pension contribution. I'm sure there are other financial and emotional actions that we should be taking to prepare for retirement. All of us know that there are benefits for retirement planning, but some of us don't know what to do to take advantage of retirement planning. As well as some of us think that, we are too young, I'm just starting my career, I still have a long-term horizon, I don't need to start retirement planning. And that's why this topic is very important, even though it's not a popular topic, but it's a very important topic. So Damilola, thank you so much for joining us, for spending time to join us this evening. My first question is this: what is retirement planning? And when is the best time to plan for retirement? Do you think it's only meant for people that have short-term horizon, people that are about to retire?
Okay, thank you, Yinka. To everyone here, thank you for making out this evening to have this chat, this conversation with us all. What is retirement planning? It is basically planning for retirement. It is you identifying the different your goals at retirement. So retirement planning is simply, you have a clear picture what you want your life after retirement to look like. And here you are now. What would you be doing between now and that future of retirement that you've painted for yourself? So retirement planning is basically you putting pen to paper and planning the activities that will help you to achieve that particular goal that you have conceived regarding your retirement. And to your second question on when is the best time to begin to plan, I would safely say that the moment you begin to earn an income, the moment you begin to earn and you begin to invest, you begin to have assets, that's about the time. So if you graduate, if you happen to have left school at the age of 22 and you started working at the age of 24 post NYSC, that is the time to start planning your retirement.
Interesting. Thank you, Damilola. So my next question is this. You've told us that retirement planning is necessary. We should start as soon as we start earning income. But where is the place of retirement? Since most of us, our employers, make contributions to our pension fund administrator, if they are doing that, why do I still need to make plans towards my retirement?
Okay, so very true. Your employer is, for those of us in paid employment, our employers are remitting steadily into our retirement savings account. So we have a fair idea of what is going in every month. So the questions you should ask yourself: the retirement goals that you've set for yourself, I didn't set it for you, you set it yourself, right? Mm-hmm. How lofty, how beautiful, how rosy, how financially tasking is that picture? So if you set out a very, very, very simple retirement goal for yourself, I plan to go back to my village once I'm 60, I'm going to buy a farm and I'm just going to eat from my farm and enjoy the cool breeze in the village. That's my retirement goal. Then you would agree with me that what you need in terms of resources, financial requirements to make that happen will be different from someone who at retirement wants to have a home at the seaside, wants to take certain trips every now and again, wants to ensure that they have some trusts arrangements for their grandchildren such that they can leave a legacy. So the bigger the head, the bigger the headache, basically speaking. So back to the question about retirement savings account, that's the basic that can happen. But to what extent will the funds in your retirement savings account sponsor the sort of lifestyle that you desire in retirement? That is the question that once you're able to answer it, you will then determine for yourself if what your employer is doing regarding your RSA is sufficient or if it's not.
Well, that's thought-provoking. Now, let me. Now, I mean, you've set the background. Clearly, we know. I mean, if I think about how much I have in my RSA, definitely I need retirement planning. So my question is, if I'm ready to do it, what are the actions I need to take to plan for retirement? I know the goals I want to have. I don't mind that ship cruise during retirement, but what do I need to do to make these things happen at that time of my retirement?
Okay. You have to start from where you are now. Where exactly are you? We need to confront our reality. Don't forget that retirement planning, I said, is a lineup of activities between where you are now and where you are heading to. So let's assume that you've painted a clear picture of where you're heading to. You need to now then appraise where you are now. What's your net worth? What do you earn? What is your regular income like? And I'm not talking to people in paid employment alone. I'm also talking to people who run their own businesses. So the fact that you run your business does not give you liberty to all of the funds from that business. So you still earn from your business. So when I say what you earn, I'm talking to everybody. So what do you earn at the moment? What are your liabilities? What do you spend money on? So you are trying to look at all of that to determine your position, your net worth. What do I have? What have I been able to put aside, or I haven't been able to put anything aside? So there will always be a gap where I am now and where I'm heading to. So if I put pen to paper and I realize that my expenses on an annual basis is X amount and my income is Y amount, it makes a lot of sense to now then find what the gap is, right, between my income and my expenses. So it's the same thing with your retirement. What is that picture that you've painted as per your retirement, your dream retirement life? What do you need to do in terms of setting aside, in terms of aggressive investing and all of that to cover that gap? You will now then go back to look at what are the risks that are peculiar to me as an individual. So that's why I say it's all about putting pen to paper and confronting the realities. Am I earning well? If I continue with what I am earning as of today, will I grow to the level where I want to, such that I can achieve those goals? So that will now then help you to determine the sort of investment you should be making in your life. For some of us, we think it's just about financial investments. For some of us, we need to make investments into our career such that your capacity to earn is better, and then the ability to hit your retirement goals are more enhanced, you know. So you also have to look at the risk confronting you. There are general risks confronting everyone. Let me just quickly mention what we call the big four in terms of risk that confront us on our everyday lives as we aim towards achieving a beautiful lifestyle in retirement. You have to consider longevity risk. So longevity risk is the risk of you outspending whatever it is that you've set aside in retirement. And is this possible? Yes. How is it possible? So you've planned, you retire at say 55, 60, and you have investments, but you didn't necessarily plan. You just know that you need to have something. So you find out that by the time you are retiring, you have something for you, and then you're earning a gratuity and all of that. And then over the years, because you didn't really plan for what you had, you just found out that that's about the whole sum of what you have. As you get into retirement, you begin to dip into that cost, because the retirement period is the period where you begin to spend what you have acquired, like we all know. So when you begin to dip your hand into it, how long will it last you? If for any reason what you have set aside is only capable of supporting you and your lifestyle for another 20 years, and you retired at 60, what happens when you are 82, 85? You would have outspent your retirement assets. So that's what we mean by longevity risk. Am I saying that you should know for sure when you're going to leave Mother Earth? I mean, nobody knows. But what we are saying is that it's a risk that you need to factor in as you plan. Inflation is a risk that we all know. To what extent are your assets hedged against inflation? Then the lack of flexibility for whatever plan you have in place, for whatever provisions you're making. How flexible is the plan? How easy is it to tweak, to adjust, just to suit as things progress? So you are in a period where you're not earning as much again. Can you alter whatever plan you have such that, flexibility, generally speaking, in terms of what you're able to do and not do with your retirement plan? And then, of course, asset prices, because you'll be investing in certain assets for future income. Asset prices will not remain the same. To what extent would the prices change? So the fourth risk is volatility risk. So I've talked about the big four. I said longevity, inflation, lack of flexibility, and volatility of the asset prices.
Thank you so much, Dami. Now my question is this: you've mentioned retirement assets. So what are the investment options that are available to enable one have that comfortable lifestyle at retirement?
Okay, so I wouldn't say that I try to avoid this question of what are the investments I can put my money into. It doesn't really work like that. I know some people they're waiting, okay, so she will tell us to buy treasury bills, bonds, and all of that. It doesn't work like that. There are certain things you need to factor in. Who are you as a person? What level of risk are you willing to take? What is your expectation in terms of returns? Like I would always say, to what extent are you able to take risk? So all of those things. So when I say to what extent are you able to take risk, your ability to take risk is different from your willingness to take risk. So you must be very conscious of that as well. Your willingness is, how is it doing you? I want to do this. I want to, I really need to cover whatever gaps I have. I'm 50 now. I have 5 more years or 10 more years of retirement. So you are really, really willing to take certain level of risk so that your returns can be enhanced and you can meet your goals faster. But because you're willing to take risks does not necessarily mean that you are able to take risks. So you also need to factor that. So I can mention different assets. Real estate is an asset class, equities, money market, fixed income investment, mutual funds. I can go on and on, but I would be doing you a disservice to just expect that you pick any of those things and begin to run with it. You need to do some sort of an evaluation of who you are as a person, and then for how long do you want to invest. So if I have a long period of time, so if I have if for someone who is 30 years old planning for retirement, the factors on the table that you would consider are different from someone who is 50 and has 10 years to go. You understand? So you have to look at all of those things before then deciding, okay, so how do I plan my retirement such that I have the right mix of assets in the basket that can help me achieve my goals.
Thank you, Dami. So, I mean, this sounds like one would need like an advisor to help with determining the kind of portfolio that you should have based on those factors that you have mentioned.
Yes. So, point blank, yes. You need an advisor. You need someone that can unhold you in this process. But we know that we're all not the same level. So for some people, they're wondering, can I really afford to pay for an advisor? Maybe, maybe not. You never can tell until you try. You could also try to do some things yourself. Basic tools online. Tools like retirement planning calculator, for example. The retirement planning calculator, you have different types anyway, would basically help you to do some computing, to do some calculation. How old are you now? When do you think you will retire? What do you earn now? What do you estimate to be your expenses in retirement on a per annum basis? So the calculator will just ask you for a few of those things and then just try to give you a figure. Okay, so if you are 30 and you want to retire by 60, you earn so, and you think that post-retirement you will need 5 million or whatever per annum. The calculator, because it has inflation already embedded in it, has estimates of interest rates, it has estimates of other factors, macroeconomic indicators. It will just put all of that together, try to give you a rough figure of, okay, so if you're going to retire by 60, you need to have 50 million to achieve blah, blah, blah. Don't forget that you are the one that imputed your estimated expense in retirement. That takes me back to what I said about it's basically what you make out of it. Your retirement goal is a very cheap, inexpensive one, not necessarily that it doesn't have significant value, but you know what I mean. If it's not something that will require significant resources, then that retirement planning calculator will give you something within your purview that you can now then work towards to say, okay, so if I need to set aside that amount in retirement, what would my retirement savings account be by the time I'm retiring? You can estimate that, and then you find out what the gap is. So I can tell you 95% of the time, your retirement savings, the balance in your retirement savings account by the time you're retiring is grossly insufficient to satisfy that lifestyle that you desire, almost always.
Thank you, Dami. So you mentioned inflation. So do you think that the returns offered by wealth managers are enough to edge inflation and based on realistic contributions that planners are making?
Okay, so it's a yes and no answer.
Okay.
Because returns are not static. Things change. So this time last year, 2018, 2019, returns on interest rates were high. Treasury bills were paying as much as 17-18%, in returns, and inflation was about 11. No, I think we're even at the 10 digits, at the single digits, sorry, at that time. So you would say at that point in time that treasury bills are good investment instruments, investment vehicle for that will suit a retirement plan. But as we speak, the same treasury bills that 18 months ago gave yields of as high as 18%, as an average yield of about 3.84% or less. That same treasury bill. Meanwhile, inflation is 12.38 or something now. So when you look at that, that's why I said returns are not static. So depending on the times that we are, fixed income investments at the moment are definitely not a good hedge against inflation. The only thing that it does for you, when I say fixed income, I mean investments that put money and you earn a defined amount at the end of the investment period. So when you buy a bond, you get a coupon that is at a certain interest rate. So it is fixed, it is defined. So a lot of the fixed income instruments now are not hedged against inflation, except a few of the federal government bonds and the corporate bonds in the market, very few of them. So, but you now then need to look at other asset classes. Equities will come as a ready alternative when you're talking of hedging against inflation. But that is over a long period of time. So your investment horizon in terms of how long you want to invest must be long enough for you to be able to accommodate equities into your retirement planning portfolio. Real estate. So as you invest in more liquid assets, it gives you the opportunity to take advantage of certain investment opportunities that will come your way with the not so liquid asset classes. So if you haven't been saving and investing such that real estate prices now crash, and then you get very good offers in the market for you to buy, and it makes a lot of sense to buy such an asset because it will help to hedge against inflation and there's potential for capital appreciation. You can only take advantage of that if you have been setting money aside, saving and investing, perhaps in some of those fixed income instruments that are not yielding much at that point in time, but they have given you the opportunity to consistently set aside, to consistently put money away for better opportunities. So the returns they're not static. We just have to keep looking at the options from time to time, but it is not an excuse not to invest at all at this time.
Okay, thank you, Damilola. Now, my next question to you is this. What sort of impact can disruptions like what is happening now, COVID-19, have on people's retirement planning? There are people that may be facing pay cuts or irregularity of income. How does that play into retirement planning?
Okay, so retirement planning, like we said, is about you building a plan. And the plan is premised on the fact that you've set a goal and you're working toward that goal. So there are demands that it will make of you. Demands in terms of how much consistently do you need to set aside. You can only set aside if income is steady, So in a situation where income is threatened, retirement, your plan towards a retirement will be impacted. In a situation where you have a recession and value of assets are declining, generally speaking, it would impact on your retirement plan, because if you are valuing whatever it is that you've set aside, the value is way less than what it should be ordinarily. But some of these things are temporary. They would correct themselves. Also income from your own investment, from what you earn, but also income from investments are threatened. So I doubt if companies will be able to pay the kind of dividends that they've paid prior to now. So those are all the factors that will impact on your plan. But I now then went ahead to so also real estate income is something to be impacted. So if prior to now you've invested in real estate with the goal of income, that you should face the fact that will also be impacted. A number of your tenants are going to begin to call you to say, hey, I'm sorry, this and that, I lost my job. So that will be impacted. But overall, we need to create a healthy mix. We need to diversify such that these in our portfolio, they complement each other. And like I said earlier, you'll be fine. You'll bounce back.
All right. Thank you so much, Damilola. This has been a very insightful and interesting discussion.